to another edition of The Morning You.
Elliot Anderson, Manchester United. Could it be a match made in heaven? Now, we're seeing a valuation on Elliot Anderson's head top of £100 million. 100 M's. And listen, I really like Elliot Anderson. I think he'll be a great signing for us. I think he'll be a perfect signing. I like Adam Wharton. Baleba, obviously a good player, but he's not in good form right now. So with him, I want a loan with an option to buy. But 100 M's, bro. And the problem that we've got here is that these players are worth what the clubs say they are. Declan Rice, the same thing happened at West Ham. Nobody talks about the price tag anymore because he's gone on to live up to the expectation. The same with Caicedo. People, again, spoke about the price tag at the beginning, but he's now started to show that. But I feel uncomfortable, guys. 100, the market's gone crazy. 100 M's is just too much. If that's the case, the scouts better get scouting. Go Liga. Go Liga. Get me one of them type of man there who can run around, win the ball back and all of that stuff, all that good stuff for like 35 million or something. Or do we just start paying the money? Do we just pay the premium, guys? Let me know what you lot are saying. We want Baleba, we want Wharton, we want Elliot Anderson, we want these type of next-gen guys that understand the league. Should we be paying 100 M's, though? I don't think we should. Let me know in the comments below. Smash a like on the video, people. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. It is crazy. It's crazy. We're going to be talking about Elliot Anderson's valuation, which obviously, of course, a valuation could be a valuation, but if you have a bad season or the player wants to leave, or sometimes it's that and then it's not that. I'm just saying what the reporters are, what is being reported by a very credible source. And also, no January exits. You're not effing leaving. That's according to some reports about certain players who might want to get out in January as well. So let's talk. There's a lot to talk about.
Yes, there's a lot to talk about as per usual. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe. 100 to 120 million pounds for Elliot Anderson flex. My goodness me. If only there was a way we could get a discount on a player. A bit like how we can get discounts on Oxford Natural by Gowan Life if you use code UV. Roll VTO.
Today's video is sponsored by our friends at Oxford Natural and their all-new natural supplement, Optimum Day and Night. Thousands across the UK, USA and beyond are smashing their health goals with Oxford Natural. Optimum Day gives you steady energy, curbs your cravings and keeps your metabolism firing all day. Optimum Night helps you relax, get restorative sleep, recover and keep burning fat while you rest. It's not a magic pill, but it will help you reach your health goals. Check out some of the incredible results. Two of our own, OWEN, lost over 100 pounds in 10 months. And KG dropped 30 pounds in 4 months. In 8 months, football legend Michael Owen lost 35 pounds. And Robbie from AFTV, Don Robbie, lost over 80 pounds. And in 6 months, Anita, an award-winning immigration lawyer, lost 44 pounds. And Linda, a law firm executive, lost over 50 pounds. No gimmicks, no needles, just results. Oxford Natural, let's get to work.
Yes, let's get to work indeed. As I mentioned, you can scan that QR code right there. You can use the code UV. You can save up to 70% off. The links are in the video descriptions, pinned in the chat as well. You can get your Optimum Day, which is good for your weight loss goals, right there in your face. You can get your Optimum Night, which is good for your restorative sleep. You can get them individually, combined, stack them whichever way you want. Achieve your health goals and get optimized today. Optimized. Yes. Optimized.
I like that.
Yes. 100 million to possibly 120 million pounds. My goodness me, Flex. This was quite an interesting one coming from our good friend Florentine Plettenberg, who said that Manchester United and Newcastle are just two of many top clubs closely monitoring Elliot Anderson. Their interest, interestingly, has already been registered. So we've already, I don't know if that's to Forest, probably to the player, and it was his agent.
Yeah, probably.
I've said that, hey, we're interested in him. Forest, of course, they're aware. He's a key player for them and Sean Dyche. And understand, according to Florian Plettenberg, for a transfer in the summer, a fee of around 100 to 120 million pounds, it's not euros, pounds, is currently being demanded. There is no release clause. 100 to 120 million pounds for Elliot Anderson, Fleck. I mean, what has happened to the market in the Premier League, right? We're getting quoted 100 million pound for Carlos Baleba last summer. We're getting quoted for possibly 100 million pound for Elliot Anderson next summer. I mean, and we saw with Carlos Baleba, not that Saturday's a complete indication of how good he's going to be in the future or anything like that. But there was this kind of feeling of, well, he's not a 100 million pound player right now. That's for certain, But then, what is a 100 million pound player nowadays? Like, what does that?
Could he go on to be one?
Yeah, like what does that mean? Like, I don't know. What is value for money when you spend 100 million pounds? Like we said with Carlos Baleba in the summer, that's breaking Manchester United's all-time record transfer. If you sign someone from 100 million pounds, not euros, you've got Pogba for 100 million euros, which is like 80-ish million quid, something like that. 100 million pounds.
It's gone mad.
You're gonna have to be getting someone that is both kind of proven, but also has got way to go, instant impact,
Exactly, bro.
Elliot Anderson. I really like Elliot Anderson, and I like Carlos Baleba, but could you imagine the pressure that would come with that? Oof.
Exactly.
I do need to get Barry Fry.
You do that. This is Barry Fry territory, bro. Again, I agree with everything you said. Listen, you guys seen what I was saying for Elliot Anderson before these links were this Plettenberg link and the club apparently sounding him out. I said from a couple months ago, however long it was. You see, Elliot Anderson, he's proper good, I think he could. We keep talking about Baleba, we keep talking about Wharton, but I'd have Anderson, me. And I like him. I absolutely like him. So I'm not going to change that or backtrack on that. He's a good player. The problem is the market. The problem is the clubs that can say, this is what he is. We saw Caicedo go for that. And he turned out to be it. We saw Declan Rice go for that. Now, yes, the amount of work that Elliot Anderson's put in this league is not the same as what Declan Rice had put in by the time he reached here. Declan Rice had won a European trophy at West Ham. He'd had probably, I want to say, hundreds of appearances for West Ham, maybe.
Well, it was that. It was captain. West Ham were qualifying, did he have, like you said. They were winning European trophies. They were also, people forget just because of how bad West Ham are now, but for a few seasons there under David Moyes, they didn't qualify for the Champions League, but they were in and around it all the time. Yeah. They were in and around that sort of top four race, all the time during that time period. And like you said, Rice captain, win a European trophy. He was also playing regularly for
245 games, bro, in the Prem. He'd put 245 games together on the Prem, getting in the England team, smashing
Euros
it. Now,
final.
Euros final. Elliot Anderson, but that was at Arsenal. Euros final.
No, first one.
Oh, the first one. Sorry, the first one. My bad. Sorry, the first one. Oh, yeah. Well, Gareth Southgate was so good. We got to 2. Exactly. Euros final. So from that, he's been putting in the work. You could see glimpses that this guy is very, very special. And a sustained period of evidence to suggest that. Elliot Anderson is at the beginning of that. He's at the beginning of that. How many appearances has he even had in the Prem? Because last year, the year before when he was at Newcastle, he was not used all the time. I know that much. And last year was his first year at Forest, right? Was he there last year? Yeah, he was there last year.
Yeah, moved in 2024.
Yeah.
Overall, I think something like 44 appearances for Newcastle.
He's only played. Elliot Anderson has played 90 games in the Premier League, not even 100 games. Now, obviously, by the end of this season, that will be 100 games across 2 teams. But he played 55 games for Newcastle, and he's just about to hit 55 for Forest. So he's literally half-half. And I just think we have to be careful, going in and paying that type of money. Now, the problem that you've got is the premium that happens if he continues to have a good season, keep starting for England, go to the World Cup with England, start for England, which is possible. Sometimes these connotations change. They do. If Forest start picking up results with Dyche, or even if they don't, but Anderson's just the guy, and then he starts for England, England go far, again, forget the 100. Like I said, probably be more the 120. But if Forest get relegated, like Ridwan says, you know, and have a shit season, and he starts belaboring where he does all right, but he hasn't had the best of seasons because it's been really it's been traumatic, troublesome at Forest, a lot of change, and he's still getting to the England team. Whatever, it can change. So I just think it's still crazy money though for a player that by the end of this season will probably have in the Prem. Well, how many? Yeah, he's played 55. So this season we've only played 9 games. So he played probably all 38. So he's got about another 37 games to go-ish. You know, he would have played just over, and he's already played 90. So 90 plus the 30. He would have played about 120 games in the Prem. 130 games.
I think.
I don't know.
Yeah,
man. It's way too much.
I think if Man United did sign Elliot Anderson in the summer, that we're not going to spend 100 million, 120 million. I just, under this regime, you know, we saw even last summer with the Mbumo, Cunha. Cunha was a bit different because it was release clause, but particularly Mbumo, to an extent with Šeško. All of those deals are in and around. All of those deals are still in and around 60 plus add-ons. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Add-ons maybe rise to 70. 100 million. I just can't see this regime doing that they're just trying to sort of steer away. They're always trying to keep in that ballpark of somewhere between that kind of 40, 50, 60, 70 in and around that. And like 70 is the max with add-ons. You know what I mean? That you kind of feel like that's the sort of territory that they're looking in. It's quite clear to see that there is a sort of pool of midfielders we're looking at, isn't it? You know, we're linked to, well, not even linked. We wanted Baleba in the summer, which was not possible to do. We're continuously linked with Adam Wharton, and it does feel like with that one, doesn't it, of he might already have a bit of a sort of gentleman's agreement with Palace that he can leave this coming summer. So we'll be in the race for him, no doubt. And then obviously Elliot Anderson is another name because he's been really impressive in the league at the moment. And you kind of forget with him as well, don't you, that him moving to Forest in the first place was only because Newcastle literally had to. Otherwise, they were going to be in big PSR trouble. That was at the time which Elliot Anderson goes to Forest for like 35 million. And who was the goalkeeper? Was it Vlachodimos from?
You have to go there for big money, like 20
to Newcastle for big money. Everyone knew he wasn't worth that, and it was just like it's a workaround of PSR. So, you know, I think that I just can't see United spending that money. And Stiller's another one we're interested in. So I think if we had those concerns about who are United going to be going after, what positions are United going to be going after in January, and also the summer, it's definitely midfielders. We're clearly looking at midfielders, which is good because our midfield needs a lot of work. But I suppose that kind of steers us into the next discussion about it with midfield, because I tell you what, Flex, I thought it was really interesting last night on the red carpet how much that Casemiro debate sort of generated.
A big thing, man. Yeah,
it generated a lot of discussion across the panel about if he's world class still, if he's good or not, if should he even stay, or what would the conditions be for him to possibly stay. He's our best midfielder we've got, which I do agree with. I've been saying that for several weeks, that he's our best midfielder. But I also say that that's kind of indictment of where we are in terms of our midfield options in 2025. But that whole midfield discussion, that's gonna rumble on.
It is, and it feels, and you know what? And people are forgetting, right? And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just being honest.
Yes, you are. You fake fan.
Yeah,
for clicks.
I'm just going to be a fake fan for a minute.
Go to talk shite and never come back, mate. Yeah,
exactly. I'm just going to get back to basics. Get back to negativity,
share your
clicks
opinion.
and likes. Yeah. People are forgetting, because we've won a few games. All of a sudden now it's like the midfield's not as bad as we thought, and this, that, and that. Like, there's a lot of humblers that can just instantly happen. And I'm not saying every time we lose it's going to be because of that. I'm not saying that. But we can't. It just felt a little bit yesterday, as much as I loved the turnaround from Casemiro, and I completely accept that actually the stats don't lie. When he plays, we are a better team, and the turnaround that he's had has been brilliant. He's our most important central midfielder. I don't doubt that at all.
He's our best midfielder.
But in terms of what it looks like to kick on from this point, I don't necessarily think he needs to be a huge part of that, because he's naturally coming to the end. Only because I'm not trying to kick him out, but he's naturally coming to the end of the stay, right? So, and it's been, if we look at what we've given Casemiro for 5 years for £350,000 a week, let's not pretend to ourselves that it's been good value.
It's not
Because
even
that's
that.
what's starting to happen.
It's 4, wasn't it? 4. It'll be 4.
Is it 400 grand?
You got no. You got 4 years. It's 4 plus 1.
Oh, sorry, 4
years.
years. There you go. Do you know what I'm saying? I think we're starting to get a bit confused, like, because he's like highly decorated and like a good leader and like he loves the club. All of that stuff is true, but we can't mix in that. Like, do you know what? That's 70. That was actually 7. That'll go down in history, you know. But Streaks won't forget. That's 70 million quid and 350 grand a week for. That was a good decision. It wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah. We can't pretend that it was. Flex, that's not what people are saying. We just don't want us to overpay for average players. We almost paid 100 million for Baleba. Huh?
I think on the Casemiro thing, by the way, as well. I think people it gets a bit muddled, and like you said, maybe because it's some positive results, it gets a bit muddled because Casemiro has played well, and his record is, of course, Casemiro's record is, you hold it up against anyone ever, you know, in terms of what he's won and achieved throughout his career, but time catches up to everybody, doesn't it? There are players in the Premier League that are playing right now that have got a fantastic record. James Milner's playing for Brighton. He's got a really good record.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have him in midfield.
On the Champions League, yeah.
Because he's older, because he's 39. Jordan Henderson's at Brentford. He's a couple of years older than Casemiro. He's got a good record. He's won Premier League, Champions Leagues, you know. But I wouldn't have him for Man United, obviously, because he's older. And, you know what I mean? It's like,
doesn't mean it has to fit your thing.
Yeah. I don't think it should be a novel concept that as players get older, of course, they're not going to be what they once were. Casemiro's 34 in February. And there would have to be I think, and it's the same energy I've had like with Maguire and others, there would have to be really specific conditions, I think, to make him staying acceptable, you know, because, you know, he's the highest paid player at the club. Even if you significantly reduce his wage, it's still a high wage as well. And as we said last night, we don't know necessarily if Casemiro would even not necessarily taking the wage cut, because wherever he goes, he'd probably take a wage cut. But is he then content to become a bit part player? Maybe he'd be like, look, I've only got a few more years left of football play, and I want to make sure I get the most out of it. Or I want to try some other experiences. I want to go to, you know, AC Milan. I want to go to Italy, or I want to play in France, or I want to, you know, wherever it may be. And there is still a need. There will still be a need to develop and move on for Manchester United, because that's what you've got to do. And I think that actually, looking at this past summer's transfer window, I think will dictate quite a lot what we do in January and the summer, whereby we look at the successes of Brian Mbeumo, Mateus Cunha, and go, I tell you what, we're raving about Premier League proven.
Yeah, definitely.
That's maybe why they look at an Elliot Anderson or an Adam Wharton, going, because we know
I've got no problem with that. That is, in terms of profile and player that we should be going to get, I'm fine with the players we've been linked to. I know I don't know loads about Angelo Stiller, etc. And, you know, the kid at Chelsea, what's his name? Santos. I know that list was drawn up that we saw the other week. You know, I'm not. It's fine. I've got no problem with, we say the big three, don't we? We say Anderson, Wharton, Baleba. Give me one of them three. They all offer slightly different things, but you'd be happy to have either or three of them. And the Baleba one now is becoming the more, because he's having a bit of a bad time and trying a bit too hard, and he has been affected by what's gone on. We're probably not going to see a true reflection of him. And now the assessment of him needs to be somewhere in the middle. Again, he's not this 100. None of them are this polished, finished article that's 100 and something million. None of them are that. But all three of them are really talented, young, up-and-coming players that Man United should be looking to get. It's the same what the other teams did, like Caicedo, like Rice, where you identify from the league, there's some work being put in there. We can surround that player with really good players, etc., and take them to the next level. And that's what, even Chelsea, with how unstable they are, and they've got loads of things to buy, and they've not bought the best. With Caicedo, though, they've got him to a level where you go, right, certified world class in this era, in this generation of football, no problem, sorted. Alongside, we also bought Cole Palmer. They stumbled upon one there, because I don't think anyone thought it'd be as good as that, especially for 40 million. City certainly didn't let him go for that cheap. 40 million, but he's now cusp, if not, you know, world class, very, very, very good. You know, Reece James, who was come through the academy, is different, but they've got a nucleus of putting him around good players. I don't mind us being linked to these players, but we're just going to have to be really careful on the price, because it is true. If you try to buy from the Premier League, they're commodities. They come at a premium. These clubs don't mess about. You know, like you said, Cunha was a release clause, so it was easier. And Mbumo, they could have put an extra year on his deal, so essentially had 2. But a club like Brentford, no disrespect, they got what they wanted. They got the best part of 62.5 as well, 65, whatever it was, a lot of money. I think with the central midfielders, when you're talking Brighton, when you're talking Marinakis, when you're talking Palace, they're not going to be afraid to say, yeah, 80s, 90s, 100s.
Do you know what an example is as well? I look at Arsenal when they signed Declan Rice. That summer, they let go of Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka goes to Bayer Leverkusen, and look, Granit Xhaka, when he left,
could come off the back of a good season as well.
First of all, Arsenal, was doing really well, and it was actually like, you're going to get rid of Xhaka. Like, he's actually doing really, really. It's quite integral to how you play. Goes to Bayer Leverkusen as well. Wins Bundesliga, mate. You know what I mean? Does really well, and he's come back to the Prem, and everyone's like,
and he's still wicked.
Well, Sunderland,
yeah.
But because there was this kind of acceptance of, yeah, but you know, Xhaka, he was, I think, I was like 30 at the time. He's same age as Casemiro now, by the way. Same age, you know, kind of 30. We need to Declan Rice. He's a bit younger. You know, we need to build. You know what I mean? We need to build. And as much as Xhaka's success elsewhere, you know what I mean, is like, well, maybe Arsenal made a mistake there. You don't really talk about it. We spoke about this yesterday with Declan Rice, didn't we? When we sort of said, no one really talks about the price tag with him. You know what I mean? Anymore. Because if he's a success. But that was a English player, Premier League proven, and even I think City possibly like stepped away from that one because of the price, didn't they? So I think we're really scarred with spending, you know, these £100 million or close to on players. Like I said, I cannot see us doing that. I really, really can't. It'll be interesting to see, because for those players that we mentioned, Anderson, Wharton, maybe Baleba, I don't know, but if several clubs are interested, which it does look like they will be in, will there be this bidding war? Will there be a Premier League team that is willing to spend 100 million on Elliot Anderson or on
I don't think there will
Adam
be.
Wharton?
Well, hopefully not us, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
What does the chat think about that? Is there anyone in the Prem that would do that?
Would Man City spend 100 million? Chelsea, you can't write off of doing that.
Even though they don't need it, they would do it.
They don't need it. But no, but they could sell. They could say, right, Lavia's injury prone. Let's sell him.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of Enzo Fernandez. We bought 120 for him, but
find some academy player that they can sell for like, 40 million, times it by 3. They'll be like, that's enough. I guess over the line.
Yeah. Liverpool could.
Maybe.
City spent 100 on Green. I think you know what? I think there is people who would or could afford it and stuff.
It's not necessarily about could. It's more who would.
Like all Elite says, a lot of clubs have the ability to slap down 100 these days. It has become the new 60. It's who will see that they need it that much that they will invest that much into him. Arsenal, no. Chelsea, you can't say no.
You never know.
They can make some big decisions in the summer regarding their midfield. Liverpool, the same. Look what they've just gone and done. So they've just broke the record twice in the window. So you can't write them off. They might say, McAllister.
Worse.
I tell you what, and now they're worse. But they might say McAllister. See you later, mate. Done all right. Curtis Jones, not quite. Tell you what, we get Anderson in 100 million. Go him and Gravenberch in there. There's Bosley. Do you know what I mean? You don't know. So look. He's just not worth it. He's not worth that at all. But we're going to have to just wait and see what they say he's worth at the time of trying to get him, if it is going to be him. Really, what should it be worth? I think in today's market, you could argue that's why he's 100 million, because that's what today's market is. But really, what's reasonable is probably like the 70, I think. Personally, I would be, because he's young, he's English, playing in the Prem.
I think that'd be total package. I think that'd be total. Yeah. I'd be more comfortable for in around 60, 65, something like that.
What was Gibbs White going to go for? He was going to go for 60, innit?
Well,
when that deal fell through,
wasn't a release clause. Yeah. What was it? Gibbs White, Spurs fee. What was it? 60 million?
So I mean,
60 million
Eze
pounds.
was Eze. I know
Release
Eze's
clause.
older. He's like 26, 27. Eze, but his was like 60 odd.
67.5 million pounds.
But Madueke was basically 50 all in. I know he's a winger, but
I think
you're looking around 60 to 70.
I think about 60 plus add-on 65. I think that's reflective of value, and I think that's a price that United would try and do a deal at, and I think that's a price that United would wait for ages for. I mean, look how long it took us for Brian and Mbeumo, right? And also, to be fair though, we're talking about these players that the summer window does look quite positive and strong. Man United, as it's clear to see, would want a reassurance from Elliot Anderson first that he's only interested in Man United before they even do business, right? That's what it was with Mbeumo. Because even now, I don't know if you saw this in the last sort of few days, more stories coming out from sort of how we ended up signing Mbeumo in the summer and how Brentford actually really, really tried to sort of encourage him to go to Spurs in the summer because Spurs were willing to offer more money than Man United were, and they actually sort of sat him down and had a meeting with him saying, we should really go to Spurs, be better for us, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, nope, I've already given my word to Man United. That's where I'm going. So anyone that we sign, midfielder or not in the summer, I think it'll be the same strategy, which will be, do you want to come to Man United? Yes. Right. Then you're going to have to sit there.
Right,
and wait
we'll work on it.
if you want
Yeah.
because we're going to have to sort that out. So
yeah.
And how well that would go down, like I said, with Marinakis at Forest, I don't know,
One for the football scholars. Just a minute ago, I think it's from Sky Sports out there in Germany. It is United Report put it. It's just one for the scholars to go and report and come back to us because I don't know who his kid is. Man United are closely monitoring the situation of 18-year-old RB Salzburg winger Karim Alajabegovic.
I tell you, it's better than I was going to be able to do.
That's definitely Begovic at the end. So Alajbegovic.
Yeah.
Karim Alajbegovic. Chelsea and FC Porto also monitoring. One for the scholars. He's in Salzburg right now. So you guys go and do what you need to do. We'll probably never hear his name again. But the scholars, you go and scholar. Go and scholar for us, please.
Scholar view.
Scholar view. Exactly. Scholar view.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, my YouTube's fixed now in the back end. It decided to not have the purple chimp on the side. It just decided to sort itself out. So yes, big up to everyone watching. We have got 167 likes, which is a total disgrace and cheat, actually. On our way to 900 people watching, which is great. So please smash a like, people. 167 right now. Go hit that like button. Let's get to that 250 benchmark and kick on from there. I think that's safe to say. Let's do that. And make sure you share the video in your group chat, share it with your friends, share it in your messages, share it on your social media, let them know we're live. And maybe we can push to over 900/1,000 watching live. As well, a couple super chats to get out of the blocks. All Elite, big up to you, bro. Always here. So Southampton quoted us 100 million for Diblin. Sold for 42 million. Exactly. And he's struggling at Everton, to be fair to him. Young, can't really get in. Aminor says, where the F is Kone, Collier, etc. Use them instead. Well, Collier's on loan at West Brom. West Brom, did he go to?
Yes.
And Kone had a fractured eye socket in the under-21s and I think has only recently just returned and stuff. And with him, we haven't seen that big push, have we? And Chido's gone back to not a sign. Yeah,
because he should have under
21s. That's what it
last season.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it should have been, and we forget that. It's only really Aiden Heaven who has survived that, which actually I think there's something there for now, like in terms of running around the first team. They're going to train with the first team.
He wasn't real. I think he wasn't necessarily purchased to be under 23s. But he was more purchased to be like in and around it a little bit more. But definitely. When Leach is back, his game time is going to be even more limited. We just have to be a bit careful, I think, with the youngsters, don't we? We see, look how much criticism we give Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes. These players that are senior pros ready to play right now. We if Sekou Kone or even Toby Colley, I remember Toby Colley when he came on against Liverpool in one of Ten Hag's games last season, and when he came on for Casemiro at halftime, wasn't it? I think it was at halftime, whenever it was, and after that, Toby Colley's got to be playing all of these games, and then you sort of see that again they're young players. Against
Brighton, didn't he?
Yeah, you see that they're young players and they're not ready, and then we sort of go, they're never going to make it at Manchester United. And that is one thing that I do think
Ari Amas is another one.
Yeah, exactly. I do. That's one thing I think Ruben Amorim has done very well. Like I said, is the integration of players, whether they be young players, whether they be players we've signed, of this feeling of not ready just yet. You know, so Man United, it will eat you alive. You know what I mean? They will absolutely, if you don't, especially if you don't deliver straight away. So
Yeah.
I think there does have to be an element of protection.
It's very difficult. Yeah. I mean, look at Shaw. I mean, he says he's built like a straw, but he says, look at Wheatley. You know, he's gone to, you know, he won our Jimmy Murphy Young Player of the Year, scored loads of goals 2 years ago. And he's on loan at Northampton now. Got his first senior goal. He's doing well.
Yeah.
Yep, scored the other day. Like, you know, he's a good kid. You know, he's been. I think have we interviewed him before? I don't know, but he keeps in contact. He's a good kid
on tour.
Yeah. And since then, like followed each other, and he watches stuff, and he's a good kid. But again, it's so difficult to break through. It's that you have to be. Even to train with the first team regularly is a joke, but it can mean you could be doing that 1 week for 6 months, and then you got to make your way in. What's Northampton Town? They League One, I think. Or they League Two? Maybe League Two.
Yeah, I don't know. They were League like One for a while, weren't they? Northampton Town, the Cobblers.
Yeah,
they are in League One. Yes, Flex.
League One. You know,
never doubt your football knowledge. Yes,
never doubt. So it's not easy at all. It really isn't easy to make it. And then you look at other players that are, you know, you go on loan to so many places. Look at what's his name? What's his name again? He's gone on loan to Falkirk now. He scored on tour. Another one I follow all the time as well. He always speaks to us. His name's just eluded me. Someone put it in the chat.
Ethan Williams.
Ethan. I was thinking Reese. Why was I thinking Reese? Ethan Williams got his first senior goal. We spoke to him afterwards when he said, "It's a dream come true. I've been dreaming, just praying for this moment. I've scored like on tour." And, you know, and he was like, you know, I was like, what do you reckon, bro? You're going to try and stay around it? And because I want to stay around. But obviously things transpire. Got to go, hey, it's a Falkirk now. So
sign a new contract.
It's very difficult. Sign a new deal. Exactly. Yeah. Which is good. That does show, you know, that's United obviously making sure they preserve the value, goes and smashes it in the SPL, then come back and then look at it. Championship team wants to buy him or vice versa. And he's more amazing. Then you bring him back and he's locked in. But it's very difficult. Was our point of that. And the other super chat was from Super Arch. He says that we really need to be grooming the next generation. Cass and Bruno, both 30 plus. We can't afford to wait to the last minute to find replacements for the midfield. Yeah, we have to know what we're doing. I definitely think the work is being done. I don't think we're going to get to. You know, we need to even wait to see what happens in January. Maybe they might go really ambitious. If we're doing, I'm not going to be too positive or not being too negative. I'm just saying, if we're doing really well by January and they want a big push and they're like, we can go and get X player now, they might try and go and get someone that we didn't expect.
Hold on, wait a minute.
It's January, is how it's said. Flex.
It's
called January.
It's
called January.
January.
I thought it was called January, but I heard from Don Robbie it's called January.
Like that. No. Uncle Unks also says because he's old school Caribbean. Like he'll also say oven, the oven. Like he's old school Caribbean Jamaican, bro. I don't listen to Robbie as what to pronounce things. Yeah, January. No chance. I mean, it might be spelt like that, but nah, it's January.
Speaking of Caribbean, obviously thoughts with everyone in Jamaica as well. I saw on the news with the hurricane that's and the storm that's coming. Looks terrible. Looks really, really bad. They reckon it's like a record, one of the worst ones on record or something like that. Yeah. Looks very, very concerning, very worrying.
My nan's out there. Checked in, so yeah, she's doing all right. The house is solid, luckily, but just got to just wait. Pray, man. Just make sure that it passes and everyone's, comes out as unscathed as possible, because there's going to be obviously damage to properties and stuff, but hopefully people are good. So yes, big up to anyone out there as well, man. Stay safe, people. Stay safe for real. All right, January exit zone. January.
January, thank you. That's why I wanted to make
exits.
sure it got done before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? January exits. According to Samuel Luckhurst from The Sun, says that Manchester United are prepared to block requests from players to leave in January amid an expectant squad shortage. Kobbie Mainoo and Joshua Zirkzee have had limited playing time this season, but both are in line for key roles around Christmas time, Flex. So the suggestion is they're not going to be allowed to leave. And the reason they're not going to be allowed to leave is because they're going to have what's described as key roles in the winter months because of obviously AFCON, maybe injury, suspension. So they're not going to be allowed to leave. What happens though if Man United can get replacements for, Kobbie or
Yeah,
I think
I think it all depends on how the market looks, what opportunities arise versus what don't arise, and you have to stick with what you got, and you're happy to stick with what you got because you do like the players. I do think Ruben. Well, look, I've always said he doesn't fancy Kobbie in terms of playing. We know that because he doesn't play him, so that's fine. I don't think it's anything personal. I think he doesn't mind him coming on for 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there. That's what he's shown us. It going beyond that is the key for me. I don't think it ever will. Now, to be fair to Ruben, he has proved that football can change very quickly. He says it, and in Casemiro's case, it's so true. It's so true. He was behind Toby Collier. He's right. I remember when we were saying that, we were like, he's done. He is so done. Was he not even getting in? No, I think he's always been in the squad, to be fair. But unused subs, and like I said, Toby Collier getting in ahead of him. So he's gone from that to locking in and proving to the manager that he can be this. So things can change. People can get sold or run a form, or stuff can change. But I think that they probably will try to keep them and not make too much change in January, unless something big becomes available. And they go, right, may as well let Kobbie. If we are going to go and get Anderson now in January, or Baleba, or something we didn't expect, even a Stiller, whoever, you go, just give Kobbie his wish. Let him go on loan. Let him go on loan, because he's definitely not going to play now. We've got one more in that's going to play ahead of him, and Ngate's already ahead of him, or a mixture of. It's something that I think will the Zirkzee one. You see, the thing is that during the AFCON, it is true, Amorim has shown that he will put Matheus Cunha up there, no problem. And if Mason Mount's fit, he's happy to go Mason Mount, Mbeumo, Cunha. And obviously Mbeumo wouldn't be there. So that would probably look like Bruno, maybe, Mason Mount and Sesko, or Bruno, Mason Mount and Cunha. Do you know what I mean? Or Cunha and Cunha, Bruno, Sesko. So, and then there's a spot in midfield. But if Mount's available, you could go put Zirkzee up there when Sesko needs a rest, and you go Cunha and Mount. Do you know what I mean? You just go Cunha and Mount through that month.
Yeah, it does feel like Zirkzee, and this is the thing with him. I suppose the issue is because it's not very defined as to what he is, i.e. striker or 10, he's kind of a bit lost because of that, because it already feels like confirmed, doesn't it, that the two strikers this season are Benjamin Sesko, and then if it's not him, like you said, it's probably Matheus Cunha, isn't it? Because it worked at Anfield, and also that wasn't a one-off. He's done that a few times, Ruben. I think he likes, the Cunha, Mount, and Mbeumo. If Mbeumo's not there, all right, then Bruno goes into that, or maybe Ahmad goes into that, and and then maybe Kobbie fills in midfield. That feels more likely than Zirkzee coming on. So the Kobbie one, him leaving in January on loan, I think he'd have to really force it. And I know he asked in the summer, but I still don't think that was him forcing it. There were other steps that he could go to. And I just don't think he would ever go to that. I don't think he would ever go to that kind of level. So I don't think he'll force it in January. He still could go out on loan if United decide that they do find someone else, but I just don't know if I see that. The Zirkzee one, I feel like that might be more possible. And then
he's way off getting minutes, isn't it?
Because he feels like way off. And then let's say they do sell him. Remember, we didn't even buy Zirkzee for that much money either. So, you could probably get a decent return on investment there. and the book value will probably be quite low too. So you could potentially sort of sell him, flip him for a decent amount of money. And then who knows, that can seemingly we're in quite good financial shape from a PSR perspective that we could do business in January. Then if you've got Zirkzee going, and then with the idea that in the summer you're probably going to have some high profile departures as well, maybe United do go for it in January. Depending on where we are as well in the league, there might be this thing of we'll see Ineos's level of ambition come the winter transfer window, won't we, Flex, I suppose? Because let's say, hypothetically, we're still in that race of sort of top 5. We can get into the Champions League. By the time the year ends, we get to January time, we're, I don't know, 6th or 5th or something in and around those numbers. Then it would behoove, there you go, it would behoove Ineos to go out and get someone in January, wouldn't it? Go straight for yourself, kick on the season.
Exactly. If you've got a resource,
make sure you get Champions. You can do it.
Exactly.
Go secure Champions League football. We need it. So it'll be really interesting to see their level of ambition come the winter window. If we're in a position where, like, we can properly succeed here. We can properly succeed. Well, this is another interesting one, Flex.
Go on.
Another one for the scholars. Another one for the scholars.
Another one.
We
win a few games.
Yeah, Florian Plettenberg has just posted in the last 10 seconds, going exclusive. Manchester United are in concrete negotiations over a transfer for Kevin Filling. The 16-year-old talented striker could leave AIK. Is that the Athens club?
AEK.
Or is that AEK? AIK. Okay. As early as this winter. Price valuation around €3 million. Some Bundesliga clubs are also consider him interesting. So Kevin Filling, let's have a quick look, Flex. 16 years old, Kevin Filling.
Up. Let's have a look.
Here we go.
Filling.
Filling.
Oh, okay.
Against 16, he's a Swedish professional footballer. Plays for AIK, which is it's in the Strawberry Arena where we were earlier. There you go. We were there in the summer.
Oh, they used the National Stadium. Oh yeah, the guy said that.
Yeah. The Strawberry AIK Stockholm is what it is. It's a Swedish club. This is his first senior season at AIK.
He's playing first team.
He's played 5 games, scored 2 goals so far. So there you go. Oh, now he's on loan as well. He's on loan at the moment.
To where?
No, he is at AIK. He was on loan previously at another Swedish club.
Well, 16 and he's playing men's football. Sign him.
Yeah.
I mean, so don't mind. Get him in. Never heard of him. Well, again, scholars go and scholar and report back to us. We will see.
That's at the striker. We're gonna sign a striker in January 16. You know what? I really do hope. Yeah, with these these young players we're getting linked to, and obviously the signings that we're making. I just really hope, like I say, let's say 4 or 5 years. Yeah, suddenly we've just got
they start blossoming.
Really good. Yeah, we got 4 or 5 like top quality players. Because to be fair, it is a strategy that United should be taking because obviously all the top clubs do that, and for years. People like City have done that. We just don't pay attention because we're Man United fans. Like, why would we pay attention to Man City are signing 16-year-olds for £2 million? We would never pay attention.
You don't look 16, by the way, this kid. Jesus,
I know. Yeah,
he does not look 16.
So, and I suppose maybe the mindset also is, let's say you buy 10 players that are like 16, 15, or around that age, something like that, all for a couple of million. So you spend like 10 million.
Three or 4 to make it.
If just one of them makes it like proper,
it's
already return on investment, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because all you need sometimes is like a sort of top young player to come through, and it can completely change your team. Like it can, can't it? You go, bloody hell!
Of course,
they've got.
Well, now. I know Kobbie's been here since he was 6 or something, but like it felt like that with Kobbie. Like the revelation of him, of how he started becoming good in the first team and integral at that point. It felt like that, didn't it?
Look at like Bukayo Saka at Arsenal. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's integral. And like suddenly with the rise of him is kind of coinciding with the rise of Arsenal sort of back up the table.
Liverpool had it with
Harry. Well, look at Harry Kane when he was at Spurs, right? He burst onto the scene. Then he's sort of top striker in the Premier League for, however many years he was there. I know Spurs didn't win anything, but Spurs were consistently qualifying for Champions League and sort of a couple of years competing for the title. For Spurs, that's like impossible, isn't it? And that's spearheaded by having Harry Kane, who's going to score 30 goals a season for you. So if you get one young player that comes through, that can change your fortunes completely. I mean, we know better than anyone, class 92. You know, they come through, bloody hell. We suddenly, that's our foundation for winning the Prem for like 2 decades.
Yeah.
You know, so
Reece James at Chelsea, you know, he's achieved big things at Chelsea. It's great. That's what you want to see in it. Young players coming through where you've nurtured them through from, you know, the age of 5, 6 in your academy all the way through. They're the success stories you want to see in it. There's a lot of them. And hopefully we get some more. That's what I'm saying. Hopefully we get some more.
Yeah.
Trilla says, Chef Flex, great cooking of AGT sausage yesterday. Yeah, honestly,
I saw he was dressed up as one. He
was dressed up in a sausage suit, which was good. Didn't want to put it on. Had to fight him to get it on first. And like you said, you lot all know what happened. Like I said, he blocked me from being able to tag him. So I had to expose him because he was being too ridiculous on the show. I was like, right, you're taking the piss now. You're taking the piss.
Yeah. And what about Matisse? What about Matisse? How was he?
He got it as well. To be fair, Matisse, he owned his. Like AGT was trying to not speak. AGT bought guys down from Liverpool. He bought a guy called Greg, who's about 9 foot, proper Scouse accent, and he brings Doyle. Yeah. And he's like, guys, and then he was like, I'm calling my lawyers, like, we want to talk. He was like, they come talk for him. He thought he could bring down man and not like we were just. And Matisse was more angry than AGT and just took full accountability, to be fair to him. But then he started getting rattled. Then he started trying to cuss United and Spurs, saying like, you know, you're this. He just started getting angry. But he was angry as well.
I tell you, Matisse, he doesn't like Garnacho as well, does he? He makes it
it's so consistent
clear.
that you actually can't cuss him.
No, you can't.
You can only wind him. You can only wind him up. You can't say, "Ha ha!" Like, look, you wanted Garnacho, you got him now. Shit, no, he's never wanted the player. He's never bigged up the player. He's always.
He'd say he's Salomon Jan. He was like he's Salomon Jan. But the AI did its business. For those that didn't see yesterday, we got there in the end. World champion of what? With actually, just in case you don't get the reference, Noah Lyles is written right there. You know what I mean? So just so you don't get that.
Brilliant.
It's all there.
Brilliant stuff. And he took it well. And then AFT DR had a thing of him. They AI'd him on sitting on the wall with Garnacho from the celebration from the goal. That was really funny.
Good.
Yeah, because it was actually Pedro Neto sitting next to him, but they just put Matisse on there, and they know he hates Garnacho. So that would have, in fact, that probably would have been an even better one. Well, listen, we did it. We did both. We could save that for another day. Because, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
We shall wait.
Exactly. We can keep saving them. That's good. I'll tell you what as well. Just very quickly on that sort of Garnacho one. We sold him for, what's it, 40 million in the end, wasn't it? We got plus a salon clause and what have you. As time goes on, are you happy with that fee?
I've always said, like, it was, it felt like we should have got more because of the market. Like, there's like, if Jamie Gittins and that is going for like 50 odd. Madueke can go for like, even though you look at eye test, Madueke is better than him, to be fair. But like, you know, he's won the FA Cup. He's played. Yeah, definitely. Do you know what I mean? You just look at the market and go, you know, Amari Hutchinson was 40-something million. So based off of that, he should have been more. But I always stick by the conditions of which it was under. We'd ostracized him, told him get out. He's putting up posts like it's over, and he only wants to go Chelsea. It was the best. It was the best we could have got, really, considering the situation, and the only destination he wanted was them. If we were going to talk to Napoli, talk to other teams, and this, that, and the other, maybe. But he only wanted to go Chelsea. He was going to wait to the end of the window. Chelsea were going to wait to do it. Did it late. Try and stall it out. Get the price down. He should have been around 55.
Yeah, I think so. I still think around 55. But it's just I'm watching the highlights of that Chelsea game at the weekend. It was funny because I thought, they've done a bit of an Arsenal back in the day where they've signed wingers, but they basically just signed the same winger over and over again. You know what I mean? Like Pedro Neto and Alejandro Garnacho, they're effectively the same player. You know what I mean? They'll run at you, but the end product is very questionable. They will miss a shitload of chances.
Yeah, that's what Matisse was saying. He was pissed yesterday. He's saying, because he say it as it is, Matisse. You don't sugarcoat it. He was saying, like, we, for the quality, for the amount of money that we've spent. He was saying what like the quality and the depth should be there, and it's not. You know, we've got Guiu is going to stay at Sunderland. You just got him in luckily because of the injury. Tariq George was going to go to Fulham, kind of fell through. You know, Delap shouldn't be carrying Chelsea on his back. You're looking at João Pedro now. That was a bargain at the start in the Club World Cup. Now it's like he's not shooting. He's doing what he actually is. You know,
I'm so glad we didn't get Liam. Liam Delap. Thank you for turning us down, because that ended up resulting in us getting Benjamin Šeško. Because the intention certainly was to have Cunha and Delap wrapped up as early as possible, wasn't it? That was what United were going to do. You know what I mean?
Tried.
And him turning us down and that resulting in us going to get Benjamin Šeško late on. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. I was going through my phone the other day actually, and I was seeing some stuff that I'd like screenshotted, and one of them was this thing over the summer was like United make approach for Gyökeres, and I thought, oh, it's funny that just didn't happen. But like we were saying last night, at the moment I probably would rather have Šeško than Gyökeres. Although I do think the argument to be said that he's gone into a team in Arsenal that probably doesn't suit him. You know what I mean? Probably doesn't. They don't play the way that kind of suits him.
Yeah, but
maybe he would have been better off going to like a United of like
counter attack, bit more space in behind. It would be better suited. But then he is still finding a way. Having watched him, he's quite ugly, like on the eye. But he does engage. He does make defenders go shit. Oh, I've got to run. He does stretch teams. You know, where Saka would just get doubled up on now and that stuff. That doesn't. It's harder to do that now because he is a genuine threat. Does hold the ball up really well, to be fair. But you can just see, like you say, him just breezing past all the defenders in the Portuguese league and running in behind. People are right in the Prem. Yeah, getting up. Which is why we literally half the goals. We were like, we still score a lot of goals. But he'll probably get goals against the smaller teams when they batter them at home. But then most teams, he probably won't get loads of goals. So, but
I think Šeško's link-up play is better than his as well. In terms of
for a big man, he can
actually
definitely
play off. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like the more you watch Gyökeres, it doesn't feel like he's like that. You know what I mean? It's just he's like I said, better running in behind. You know what I mean? Create chances for him. He'll be in the right spaces. Like if you create chance, he'll be there and he'll finish. But yeah, I don't really get the criticism of Šeško so far. I think it's a bit forced. You know, I think
it's too much.
United fans that have watched him every week will go, nah,
we know
not what the media
not
what the media are trying to say.
Exactly. And that's not hyping him up past what he's been saying. He's been the best sign. He's pound for pound best. None of that. It's got so much to go. But he's young. He's 22 years of age. This is fine. I don't mind this. This is a good, steady little incrementational, if that's a word.
Well, in his last 4 games, 2 goals and assists. Wrong with that.
That's it.
That's fine, isn't it?
It's fine.
That's not an issue.
It's fine. Long may it continue. You know what I mean? So there you go.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Nathan as we close the show. Please pray for my beloved Jamaica. 100%, man. We're sending thoughts and prayers out back home, bro. I hope you and yours are good as well. You know what I mean? And the family just keep safe and keep looking out for one another and pray that this passes and everybody's unscathed to the best that they can be. So thoughts and everyone back home for sure. Right, on that note, guys, have a good day. Big up to yourselves. Stay safe today, whatever you're doing. Enjoy yourselves. Have a blessed day. And yeah, we'll see you very, very soon. Take care, people. Smash a like on the way out as well. We got all the super chats done. Yes, we have. Moments chats. Yes, we have. Big up. Video on the Football Flex as well, coming shortly as well. About the Arsenal. Are they boring? What are you lot saying in the chat? Are you hating on Arsenal? Are they boring? Boring Arsenal? Or is it, doesn't matter, they're top of the league. Who cares? Take care. Check it out. Peace.